Picture this. Oracle Arena, 2016, the crowd roaring so loud the walls shake like an earthquake's hitting. On the court, a lanky guy in a white Golden State Warriors jersey, number 30, grabs the ball, fakes a move, and swish, launches a three-pointer from 10 meters out like it's a pickup game, not an NBA Finals. The ball sails through the hoop, the crowd loses it, commentators scream, and opponents just shrug. Another tray, another nail in their coffin. This is Stephen Curry, the man who turned basketball into an art form of long-range shooting. The guy who grabbed the NBA by the collar and said, "We're playing my way now." Stephen Curry isn't just a basketball player. He's a revolutionary who proved you don't need to be a 7-foot behemoth with fists like watermelons to become a legend. While others pumped iron for biceps, Curry worked on his wrists. And dang, it paid off. He made the three-point shot the NBA's new weapon, forcing coaches to rewrite playbooks and players to practice long-range bombs like maniacs. Before Curry, threes were a sideshow, a trick for flair. After Curry, they're the game's backbone. Now, even kids in schoolyards don't just dunk. They step back, squint, and channel their inner Steph, launching shots from downtown. But here's the kicker. Nobody believed this guy would make it this far. Scouts? They chuckled. This twig? He'll snap in his first practice. Coaches? They shrugged. Nice shooter, but he'll get crushed in the NBA. Even Curry, lying awake at night, sometimes wondered, what if they're right? But he didn't just survive. He tore through the doubters like a dog shredding a slipper. From a scrawny kid ignored by top colleges, he became a 4-time NBA champion, 2-time MVP, and a living legend. This is a story about faith, grit, and a touch of wrist magic that flipped the world upside down. To get why Curry's special, you gotta look beyond stats. Basketball before him was a big man's game. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. These dudes were carved from granite, storming the paint with dunks that bent rims. Then comes Steph, 6 feet 3 inches, weighing as much as a high schooler after summer break, with a face like he just aced a math test. And this guy starts chucking shots from distances that make defenders scratch their heads. For real? From there, Curry didn't just change the rules, he rewrote the philosophy. You don't need to be the tallest or strongest. Be the smartest, the sharpest, and that's enough to rule. His style's like jazz on hardwood. While others pound the ball like they're hammering nails, Curry dances. He glides past defenders like water through rocks, fakes them into knots, and shoots with such ease it's like the ball's a feather. And that smile. He drills a tray over 3 guys and grins like he just won a lottery ticket. Fans go wild. Opponents grind their teeth. One coach said, "Stopping Curry is like catching lightning in a jar. You can try, but better pray he misses." Spoiler, he rarely does. To understand his greatness, dig deeper. Curry's story isn't about a guy handed everything on a platter. It's about a kid who heard, "You're too small, too weak," from day one. A kid top colleges didn't want. A pro whose ankles broke, so often doctors threw up their hands and pundits wrote him off. Every time life slapped him down, Curry got up, dusted off, and hit the gym to shoot threes. Hours, days, years. He didn't just work, he was obsessed, until his shot was as natural as breathing. Here's the drama. Imagine being the son of NBA star Del Curry, a sharpshooter for the Charlotte Hornets in the 90s. Everyone expects you to follow in his footsteps, but they whisper, he's no Del. Too frail. You grow up in Charlotte, trailing dad to games, shooting in empty arenas as the crowd clears out. Every bucket comes with a caveat. Well, his dad taught him. It's like living in a skyscraper's shadow. Barely any light gets through. But Curry didn't just step out of that shadow. He built his own skyscraper, one that outshines his father's. What sets Curry apart from other stars? He's regular. No party animal, no tabloid fodder. He's married to his high school sweetheart, Aisha, raises kids, goes to church, and smiles like the world's one big adventure. While other players flex yachts and diamonds, Curry brags about new sneakers and his daughter Riley stealing the show at a press conference. It's relatable. Fans love him not just for shots, but because he's one of them. A guy who could chill with you in the stands, munching popcorn, debating Jordan versus LeBron. But instead, he's on the court, doing things that drop jaws. Now, the numbers, 'cause they matter. Curry's not just good at threes. In 2015 to 2016, he sank 402 trays, an NBA record still untouched. Two-time MVP, unanimous in 2016, a first in league history. For championship rings, Finals MVP in 2022, and over 3,500 career threes, more than anyone ever. But stats don't capture the magic of stadiums rising to their feet or kids dreaming not of dunks, but of swishing trays like Steph. Here's the paradox. Curry's both a superstar and an underdog. Superstar because he's a global name, from school kids in China to grannies in Oklahoma. Underdog because he was always the guy nobody bet on. Not the first draft pick. Not recruited by elite colleges. Nearly traded by the Warriors when his ankles kept giving out. Every time the world said, "Steph, this ain't for you," he replied, "Watch me," and sank another tray right in the skeptics' faces. His impact is like inventing electricity. Before Curry, the NBA was about power, physical dominance. After him, it's speed, precision, brains. Coaches now build strategies around threes. Players drill long-range shots like dunks in the 90s. Even centers, 7-foot giants, step out to shoot like Curry. It's not a trend. It's a new era, sparked by a guy nobody took seriously. To see how he got here, we got to start at the beginning. Little Steph in Charlotte, watching his dad sink trays for the Hornets. The kid shooting in empty gyms as janitors swept up. The guy top colleges rejected, but who said, "I'll show you all." This isn't about luck. It's about work, faith, and turning flaws, height, fragility, into superpowers. One last thing, Curry inspires. Not just players, but everyone. His story screams, doesn't matter how tall you are, how buff, or what others think. If you grind, if you've got a dream and fire in your gut, you can do anything. Curry's proof that even if you don't fit the star mold, you can shine brighter than anyone. So buckle up, cause this is just the start. Stephen Curry's story is a roller coaster of highs, lows, and moments where it feels like it's all over. Spoiler, he always comes back, with a smile and a three that hits nothing but net. Want to know how this kid became a legend? Keep reading, cause it's gonna be epic. Charlotte, North Carolina, late 80s. Imagine a city where basketball's practically a religion. Charlotte Coliseum buzzes like a beehive, and on the court, Del Curry, star of the Charlotte Hornets, lights it up with his silky three-pointers. Up in the stands, amid the roar and popcorn fumes, sits a scrawny 6-year-old clutching an oversized basketball. That's little Steph Curry, son of an NBA star, staring at his dad with eyes wide as saucers, like he's watching a superhero. The ball's not just a toy, it's a dream. A dream to be like dad, but better. Problem is, everyone sees him as Del's kid, not a player in his own right. That shadow looms over him like a concrete slab. Born March 14, 1988, Steph's life was soaked in hoops from day one. Charlotte lived for the Hornets, the city's shiny new NBA team. Del was a fan favorite, tall, lean, with a jumper that made crowds leap. Steph, perched next to his mom, Sonia, soaked it all in. To him, dad wasn't just a player, he was Superman. Steph dragged a ball everywhere, home, school, even church. Mom joked, if Steph gets lost, check the nearest court. He's there, shooting. Being the son of a star, though, wasn't all perks. It was like walking around with a target on your back. Every time Steph hit a schoolyard or driveway court, someone would pipe up. Yo, Del's kid, show us what dad taught you. Eyes on him, expecting magic. But Steph? He was skinny as a reed, so light a breeze could knock him over without weights. He'd huff, puff, and shoot, but the ball often clanked off the rim. Snickers followed. Not quite like your dad, huh, kid? Those words stung like hot pavement. Steph didn't have the words for it yet, but he felt it. To be himself, he'd have to prove he was more than dad's boy. Steph's world revolved around hoops. After Hornets games, he'd linger in the arena as fans cleared out, a bony kid in his dad's oversized jersey, looking like a parachute, chucking shots till his arms shook. Sometimes Del stuck around, coaching. Steph, don't just shoot. Feel the ball. Make it part of you. Steph listened, absorbed, repeated. He was a sponge, soaking up every move he saw. And he saw his dad grind, perfecting his shot even after grueling games. Steph got it early. Greatness takes work. Not just playing, grinding till everyone else is partying or sleeping. But it wasn't easy. Del, a star, was often on the road, games, practices, trips. Steph and his younger brother, Seth, leaned on Mom. Sonia, a former volleyball player, was a rock. She drove them to practices, preached discipline. Want to be like Dad? Don't whine. Work, she'd say when Steph griped about being tired. And Steph didn't whine. He grabbed his ball and shot. In the driveway, the school gym, anywhere. He knew. To escape Dad's shadow, he had to shine brighter. And that meant becoming better than anyone expected. Charlotte was hoops crazy. Courts on every corner. Kids dreaming of being the next Michael Jordan. Steph dreamed too, but his vision was sharper. He didn't just want the NBA. He wanted to be a sniper like Dell, deciding games with one flick of the wrist. Problem was, nature didn't bless him with size or strength. At 10, he was shorter than most peers, arms like twigs. Classmates teased, "Steph, you on a diet or just forget to eat?" He'd flash that signature grin, later his trademark, and keep shooting. The shadow of Dell showed up in small ways. Joining the school team, the coach asked, "You're Dell Curry's kid, right? Let's see what you got." Steph tried, but his shots were shaky, his defense spotty. The coach sighed. "Kid, you've got work to do." Steph thought, "Work? I'm working. Just give me a shot." He hated the comparisons. Not because he didn't love Dad. He idolized him. But he wanted to be seen as Steph, not Dell's mini-me. It was like running a marathon with a backpack full of bricks. You push, you sweat, but the weight drags you back. Bright moments fueled him. Dell sometimes took Steph and Seth to Hornets practices. For the boys, it was Disneyland. They'd race around, shoot, while giants like Muggsy Bogues or Larry Johnson cheered them on. Once, Muggsy, the NBA's shortest player at 5 feet 3 inches, told Steph, "Height ain't everything, kid. It's heart." Steph clung to that. Watching Muggsy shred 7-footers, he thought, "If he can, I can." It became his mantra. Driveway battles with Seth were epic. Two skinny kids, trading buckets, arguing over fouls. "You cheated." Seth yelled when Steph drained a shot. "You just missed." Steph laughed. Those games toughened them. They learned to compete, fight, never quit. Sonia watched from the window, shaking her head. Those two will break each other's noses one day. But she knew. This wasn't just play. It was life's boot camp. School wasn't just hoops. At Queens Grand Elementary, Steph was a regular kid. Homework, Sunday church, family dinners. Dell and Sonia raised their boys strict but loving. "Want something? Earn it," Dell said. Steph did. Chores, good grades, comic books, and Star Wars marathons. But the ball was always near. He even slept with it, like a teddy bear. Sonia chuckled. "Steph, if you marry that ball, I won't be shocked." By late elementary, Steph knew hoops was his path. But it was rocky. He watched Dell command arenas, then looked at his scrawny arms in the mirror and sighed. Yet his eyes burned. The fire that'd later light up the world was already there. He knew. To be Stephen Curry, not just Dell's son, he had to grind. And he did. Driveway, gym, rain or shine. He shot till the ball obeyed him like a loyal dog. Charlotte, early 2000s. Picture the gym at Charlotte Christian School. Not glamorous, but homey, smelling of old wood and sweat. A wiry teen, barely 6 feet tall, weighing as much as a cat on a diet, darts across the court. That's Stephen Curry, a high schooler dreaming of the NBA. He's draining three-pointers like they're layups, the ball kissing the net with a satisfying swish. The crowd, mostly parents and classmates, roars. Steph's the star of the nights, a local hero. But outside Charlotte, nobody knows him. College scouts snicker. This kid? In the NBA? He'll snap like a twig in his first practice. That laughter burns Steph like hot coals, but he doesn't fold. Stubborn as a mule, he knows he's got a trump card, his shot, unseen by most. And he's gonna make everyone regret doubting him. Steph hit Charlotte Christian in high school, and basketball wasn't just a game anymore. It was a mission. The nights were solid, but no powerhouse, not some NBA factory. For Steph, that gym was his lab. He'd step on the court and work miracles. His threes were like laser beams, sharp, fast, deadly. He'd launch from half court, and the ball, like it was charmed, found the hoop. Classmates joked, "Steph, you hypnotized that ball, or what?" He'd flash his grin and keep shooting. But behind that smile was a cocktail of anger and self-belief, the mix that made him a legend. On the team, Steph became the leader fast. Not just a shooter, but the engine. His dribbling was a dance, smooth, slick, with a sting. Defenders lunged, but he slipped through like water. Then bam, a tray, and the scoreboard lit up. Coach Sean Smith saw something rare. Steph's not the biggest or strongest, but he's got a lion's heart, he said. And it showed. Steph played with fire, leaving taller rivals, guys a foot bigger, flustered. He wasn't just shooting, he was fighting. Every game was a chance to prove. He's not just Del Curry's kid. He's Stephen Curry, and you'd better not blink. But here's the rub. His high school heroics didn't impress the gatekeepers. College scouts showed up to night's games, but their eyes were on the giants. 6 feet 8 inches dudes slamming dunks that shook the rim. Steph? Invisible. At 6 feet, 150 pounds soaking wet. He looked like a middle schooler in a basketball world ruled by tanks like Shaq. One scout told the coach, "Kid shoots well, but he'll get crushed in real ball." Those words reached Steph, not outright, but through whispers, glances, the silence when he waited for calls from big programs. Steph dreamed big. His idols weren't just dad, but local legends like Michael Jordan, another North Carolina kid. He wanted to play for elite colleges, Duke, UNC, Wake Forest, hoops meccas churning out NBA stars. He sent tapes of himself draining threes and dishing dimes like a point guard wizard. But the response? Crickets. Or worse, polite rejections. Duke, Jordan's alma mater, didn't even glance his way. UNC, the state's pride, offered a walk-on spot. A walk-on. Steph, who carried his team on his bony shoulders, warming the bench. It was like telling Picasso to hold brushes. He was livid, not hurt, furious. He thought, "Fine, don't want me? I'll make you chew your elbows." That underdog status became his fuel. While teammates hit parties, flirted with cheerleaders, or gamed on Xbox, Steph lived in the gym. The scene was always the same. Empty court, dim lights, Steph firing threes till his hands burned. He'd shoot 100, then another, then more. A miss? He'd scowl like it was personal. Coach Smith recalled, Steph was possessed. He didn't practice, he battled himself. Every shot was a middle finger to the doubters. Every swish screamed, "I'm here, and I'm legit." Humor spiced things up. Classmates ribbed his skinniness. "Yo, Curry, you forget to eat," they'd yell when he peeled off his shirt. Steph laughed. "Least I'm faster than y'all." And he was. On the court, he was lightning, elusive, electric. His handles threw off seniors a year older. Once, he crossed a defender so bad the guy nearly fell. The gym erupted, and Steph just shrugged. Oops. But inside, he was buzzing. Those small wins built his swagger, whispering he was on the right track. Doubts crept in, though. Steph knew his shot was his superpower, honed since driveway days with Seth. But defense? Weak. Big forwards bullied him in the paint, and quick guards snatched the ball if he dozed. After a loss where his defense cost the game, he slumped in the locker room. Coach Smith said, "Steph, you can't be perfect at everything, but what you do best, do it so no one dares stop you." Steph nodded. He decided, if I can't be the strongest, I'll be the sharpest. And he shot. Family kept him grounded. Mom Sonia, a steel magnolia, lifted him up. "God gave you a gift, Steph. Don't waste it on doubt," she said when he moped over college rejections. Dad Del, still in the NBA grind, watched his games and didn't sugarcoat. "Shots fire, but your D's a sieve. Fix it." Steph listened. He ran sprints, hit weights, studied film. He knew a killer shot alone wouldn't cut it in big-time ball. The big leagues felt miles away. In his senior year, Steph was a high school star. In 2005 to 2006, he averaged 21.8 points, led the Knights to 3 conference titles and a state championship. His threes were Charlotte lore. Once, he sank a tray from so far out, even the ref whistled. Fans chanted, "Curry, Curry," but scouts still muttered, "Too frail, not college ready, not elite." It was a gut punch. Steph would come home, watch Duke or UNC dominate on TV, and think, why not me? What's wrong? Then came the twist. While big schools turned up their noses, tiny Davidson College, also in North Carolina, spotted Steph. Coach Bob McKillop saw him at a tournament and said, "This kid is a gem." Davidson wasn't a hoops giant, just a small school with smart kids and no big trophies. But for Steph, it was a lifeline. When McKillop offered a scholarship, Steph didn't hesitate. He looked the coach in the eye. "I'll make everyone who passed on me regret it." That promise held his soul, anger, ambition, belief. Steph knew Davidson wasn't Duke. No NBA scouts swarming every game, no ESPN cameras. But he also knew, to reach the NBA, he had to shine so bright even the smallest gym couldn't hide him. He prepped like a madman. The summer before college, he skipped the beach for the gym. 500 threes a day, dribbling drills, tougher defense. Seth teased, "What? You shooting from the moon next?" Steph grinned, "If I have to." But inside, he was dead serious. This was his shot, and he wasn't blowing it. March 2008, Detroit, Ford Field. The NCAA tournament, aka March Madness, is in full swing. The arena hums like a jet engine, ESPN cameras zoom in, and something wild's happening. A skinny kid in Davidson's red jersey, number 30, grabs the ball, steps back, and bam, launches a three over a 7-foot defender. The ball kisses the net, the crowd erupts, commentators lose their voices, and Gonzaga's players just stare. That's Stephen Curry, a 20-year-old sophomore, dropping 40 points on a tournament favorite. And it's just the start. Steph leads Tiny Davidson, a school nobody heard of yesterday, to the heights of March Madness, shredding top teams like confetti. America's stunned, media's buzzing. Who's this dude? Steph? He just smiles like he ate a slice of pizza and keeps shooting. Rewind to get the full picture. When Steph enrolled at Davidson in 2006, nobody expected fireworks. Davidson, a small North Carolina college, was known for churning out lawyers, not ballers. Their team, the Wildcats, was decent but no powerhouse. In the NCAA, they were underdogs, lucky to survive the first round against giants like Duke or Kansas. And Steph? He was the twig top schools like Duke and UNC didn't even scout. Scouts shrugged. Nice shot, but he'll get flattened in real ball. Now that twig was torching courts, leaving America slack-jawed. Freshman year, 2006 to 2007, Steph was solid but quiet. He averaged 21.5 points, showing his threes weren't a fluke. Coach Bob McKillop, who saw a diamond in him, gave him freedom. Shoot, Steph. Do you? And Steph shot. He drilled jumpers till his fingers blistered, learned to read defenses, got quicker. His handles were like magic. The ball vanished, reappeared, leaving defenders dazed. But the real explosion hit his sophomore year, 2007 to 2008. Steph leveled up. He wasn't just playing, he was creating. And March Madness was his stage. For the uninitiated, March Madness is hoops chaos. 68 colleges battling for the NCAA title, single elimination. Lose, you're out. Favorites like Kansas, UCLA, Duke usually rule. Underdogs like Davidson, they're there to avoid embarrassment. But in 2008, Davidson, led by Steph Curry, flipped the script. They crashed the tournament like uninvited party crashers and started wrecking shop. First game, Gonzaga, a team known for crushing minnows. Everyone expected Davidson to fold, but Steph strolled out like it was his backyard. He launched threes with such audacity, it was like the hoop was magnetized. One shot, 2, 3, Gonzaga panicked. Steph dropped 40 points, 8 trays, and Davidson won 82 to 76. America whispered, "Who's this Curry kid?" And the scouts who snubbed him? They were gnawing their elbows to the bone. That was just the warm-up. Next round, Georgetown, a storied program with a nasty defense. Pundits smirked. Okay, Gonzaga was a fluke, but Georgetown will crush him. Steph? He glanced at those pundits on TV and thought, crush me? Bet. He put on a clinic. 30 points, 5 threes, and a late-game surge. His fakes left defenders sprawling. His shots so pure they looked scripted. Davidson won 74 to 70, and now it wasn't whispers, it was headlines. Who asked this skinny sniper from Davidson? The tournament rolled on, and Steph didn't slow down. Sweet 16 against Wisconsin, a team with a defense like a fortress. Wisconsin was a bulldozer, big, tough, built to smother. But Steph didn't blink. He stepped out with that pizza-eating grin, like he knew a secret. And he cooked. 33 points, 6 trays, total control. He shot over hands, through double teams, from downtown, and hit. Once, he launched a 3 over a 7-footer, the ball splashed, and Steph spun to the crowd, shrugging like, what can I say? Fans lost it. Wisconsin looked like they'd been hit by a train. Davidson won 73 to 56, hitting the Elite Eight. A first for the school. This was when America fell for Steph Curry. Nobody expected a random skinny kid from nowhere Davidson to go this far. Social media, MySpace, and early Twitter lit up. Fans waved signs. Curry's on fire. ESPN looped his highlights like pop videos. Reporters swarmed Davidson, begging for interviews with the baby-faced killer. And Steph? He stayed Steph. After games, he thanked God, hugged Mom Sonia, and Dad Dell, who trailed him cross-country, and said, "We're just playing ball." But this wasn't just ball. It was a revolution. The drama was in the contrast. On one side, Steph, a national sensation. His threes were TV gold. Classmates carried him like a king. On the other, doubters who wouldn't quit. Sure, he shoots well, but the NBA'll eat him alive, analysts wrote. Too frail, too three-dependent, scouts muttered. Even in this glory, Steph heard the noise. This won't last. It burned like asphalt. He knew his NCAA run was just a start. To shut them up, he had to go bigger. The pivotal moment came in the Elite Eight against Kansas, the eventual champs. Kansas was a beast. Big players, fierce D, veteran coach. Everyone figured Davidson's Cinderella run ended here. But Steph stepped out like it was his court. He fought, shot, dished. At one point, he launched a tray from so far out. Even Coach McKillop grabbed his head. Steph, really? It splashed, and the arena exploded. Steph scored 25, but Kansas was too much. In the final seconds, down 57-59, Steph had the ball for a game winner, but Kansas swarmed him. Buzzer. Game over. The fairy tale stopped. But here's the thing. That loss didn't break Steph. He left the court, head high, hugging teammates, saying, "We'll be back." No tears in his eyes, just fire. He knew he'd done more than anyone dreamed. Davidson, a school smaller than some high schools, hit the Elite Eight. Steph averaged 32 points in the tournament, sank 25 threes, and cemented himself as one of March Madness' greatest shooters. He was named regional MVP, and fans nationwide rocked his number 30. Behind the scenes, Steph felt the weight. He knew NBA scouts were watching now, but they still grumbled. Great in college, but he'll flop in the pros. Steph heard it, and every doubt sent him to the gym. Empty Davidson campus, late night, dim lights. Steph shoots threes, swish, swish, swish. He wasn't just practicing, he was prepping for war. A war against those who doubted. A war for his NBA spot. Family stood by him. Dad Dell, an NBA vet, said, "You showed him, Steph. Don't stop." Mom Sonia prayed and reminded, "You play for God, not crowds." Brother Seth, chasing his own hoop dreams, teased, "Yo, star, save some trays for me." Steph laughed, but inside he was steel. He knew March Madness was no peak, just a launch pad, and he was ready to soar. Humor kept it light. Amid the chaos, Steph stayed a regular dude, scarfing burgers with friends, playing cards, joking his threes were physics and a pinch of luck. Fans knew better. It was talent, honed to perfection. A reporter asked, "How do you shoot like that?" Steph grinned, "I just keep shooting till it goes in." Truth was, he'd shot thousands of times till his jumper was second nature. June 2009, New York, Madison Square Garden. The arena buzzes like a hornet's nest before a storm. The NBA draft is in full swing, with the best young ballers in the country strutting their stuff. Cameras flash, fans scream, and Commissioner David Stern steps to the mic. With the 7th pick, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College. A lanky dude in a sharp suit, with a grin that says "Told you so," stands, hugs his mom Sonia and dad Dell, and shakes Stern's hand. That's Steph Curry, the skinny sniper who lit up March Madness a year ago. But 7th pick? Really? 6 guys went before him, and experts still mutter. This twig in the NBA? He'll get squashed. Steph hears it all. Inside, a storm brews. He vows, "I'll shut 'em all up." And, dang, he knows how. Let's rewind to see how Steph landed here and why his pick stirred drama. After March Madness 2008, Curry was America's darling. His threes were ESPN staples. Davidson fans wore his number 30 like a badge. But in basketball circles, doubts lingered. Sure, he shoots great, but the NBA's a different beast, scouts said. Too frail, too three-reliant, analysts scoffed. Steph stayed at Davidson another year to boost his stock. In 2008 to 2009, He was a one-man show, leading the Wildcats to 27 wins, averaging 28.6 points, and sinking 130 trays. He was a hoops magician, pulling wins from thin air. But even that didn't convince everyone. When he declared for the draft, pundits shrugged. Maybe a second-rounder. Steph knew he belonged in the NBA. He trained like a maniac for pre-draft workouts. Sprints, weights, dribbling drills. He pushed till he dropped. His shot was already a laser. Sharp, quick, lethal. But at workouts, scouts didn't just watch shots. They measured height, 6 feet 3 inches. Weight, barely 180 pounds. Vertical, meh. One coach whispered, talented, but he'll get shredded in defense. Steph caught those vibes, not directly, but through sidelong looks, pauses, questions like, how you handle NBA physicality. Each jab was a needle under his skin. He smiled, said, I'll figure it out. Inside, he thought, just watch me. Draft day was a roller coaster. Steph sat with family, Sonia, Dell, Seth, Grandma, nerves jangling but hidden. He fiddled with his tie, joking, if I don't get picked, I'll sling pizzas. Toss dough like a tray. But behind the laugh was worry. He knew he could go high, but also knew teams doubted. Names rolled out. First pick, Blake Griffin to the Clippers. Second, Hashim the Beat to Memphis. Third, James Harden to OKC. Steph waited, heart pounding like a drum. Fourth, fifth, sixth, no Curry. Then, seventh pick, Golden State Warriors. When Stern said his name, Steph exhaled. He'd made it. He was NBA bound. But the joy had an edge. Seventh wasn't first. Not even second. Guys he knew, guys he'd played against, went higher. Johnny Flynn, Ricky Rubio, picked above him. And Warriors fans? They were baffled. Golden State was a mess then. Perennial losers, empty seats. Fans wanted a bruiser to slam dunks, not a scrawny shooter from a small school. Online, it blew up. Why Curry? He'll break in his first game. Local writers griped. Steph's a gamble. Maybe he shoots okay, but the NBA's not college. Steph read it all. Every post, every tweet was a dare. He thought, gamble? I'll show you a gamble. Moving to Oakland, home of the Warriors, was a new chapter. Steph arrived, a Charlotte kid with a southern drawl and shy smile. The team greeted him with raised brows. Coach Don Nelson, a grizzled NBA vet, sized him up. Kid, you gotta prove you can hang with the big boys. Steph nodded. He knew he'd have to convince not just Nelson, but the whole league. His first season, 2009 to 2010, was like diving into ice water. The NBA wasn't college. Here, guys like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James didn't just play. They obliterated. Steph, at 180 pounds, looked like a freshman among titans. But Steph didn't shrink. He hit the court and did what he did best, shoot. His debut against Houston was a statement. 14 points, 7 assists, 2 trays. Not earth-shaking, but for a rookie, solid. Warriors fans started noticing. This kid's got something. Steph played with a swagger that ticked off rivals. He launched threes over outstretched arms, weaved through traffic like a street baller, and grinned when the ball splashed. One defender, burned by a crossover, grumbled, "This kid's too cocky." Steph just shrugged. Cocky? I'm just doing my job. But the job was brutal. Steph learned fast. The NBA wasn't just about shots. It was physicality, elbows, shoves, body slams. In defense, he was a liability. Speedy guards like Chris Paul danced past him. Bigs like Dwight Howard bulldozed through. After a game where Howard steamrolled him, Steph sat in the locker room, staring at the floor. Teammate Monta Ellis slapped his shoulder. "Welcome to the NBA, kid." Steph nodded, but inside, he was boiling. He knew he had to get tougher, smarter, faster. Then came the warning signs. His ankles. Those darn ankles, his Achilles heel. Mid-season, he twisted one against Toronto. The pain was like a hot poker. He limped off, and Doc said, 2 weeks out. Steph gritted his teeth, complied. He came back, played, and tweaked it again. Ankles betrayed him like a shaky bridge. Writers started murmuring. "Told ya, he's too fragile." One analyst wrote, "Curry's a glass sculpture, pretty, but one bump and he's shards." Steph saw it and thought, "Glass? I'll show you glass." He dove into rehab, working with trainers to strengthen his legs, switching sneakers for better support. But injuries nagged. He finished the season strong, 17.5 points, 43% from 3, 5.9 assists, but felt he barely scratched the surface. Warriors fans split. Some saw a future star, others grumbled, shoulda drafted Flynn. Steph stayed quiet. He hit the gym. Night, empty Oracle Arena, lights humming. He shoots threes, swish, swish, swish. He knew 7th pick wasn't a sentence. It was a starting line, and he was ready to sprint. Family was his anchor. Sonia called after games. "You did your best, Steph. Keep going." Dell, who'd navigated the NBA, said, "Ignore the noise. Do your thing." Seth teased, "Yo, star, don't break, or I'll pass you." Steph laughed, but his eyes burned. He knew the NBA was a war, and he was ready to fight. Oakland, 2010. Oracle Arena, home of the Golden State Warriors, feels more like a ghost town than a hoops mecca. The team's scraping the NBA's basement, and fans have forgotten what playoffs look like. On the court, a wiry rookie, number 30, Stephen Curry, fights to prove he belongs. He's draining threes with swagger, weaving through defenders like a street baller, and occasionally sparking the crowd. But his ankles? They're like glass, cracking again and again. Each snap sounds like a death knell. Steph's first seasons with the Warriors are a nightmare. Injuries, missed games, and whispers he's a glass player who can't hack the NBA. The team's sinking, but Steph doesn't quit. He grinds like a madman, telling himself, "I won't break, even if my ankles fall off." Steph hit the NBA in 2009, 7th draft pick, dreaming of shredding defenses like in March Madness. His rookie year, 2009 to 2010, showed he could ball. 17.5 points per game, 43% from 3, solid assists. Fans perked up. This kid's got fire. But his ankles hinted at trouble. A bad twist against Toronto sent Payne shooting like lightning. He hobbled off. Doc said, "Sit a couple weeks." Steph came back, but his ankles kept betraying him, each step a gamble. The 2010 to 2011 season got uglier. Steph started hot, but injuries piled up like bad debt. Sprain after sprain, he missed chunks of games. He played 74 of 82 games. Not tragic, but a red flag. Writers sniffed trouble. Curry's got talent, but he's brittle. Twitter buzzed. 7th pick? Shoulda grabbed someone sturdier. Then came the gut punch. Rumors in 2012 that the Warriors nearly traded Steph. Talks swirled about a deal with Milwaukee for Andrew Bogut. Fans howled. Trade who? This skinny dude. Team brass wavered. Maybe he can't cut it? That uncertainty stung like a blade. Steph caught every jab. Critics, doubters, whispers labeling him glass. After a game where he tweaked his ankle again, he sat in the locker room, eyes glued to the floor. The pain throbbed, but worse was the doubt creeping in. What if they're right? What if I can't do this? Then he shook it off. No, he told himself. I didn't grind this hard to quit. That mix of despair and stubbornness became his rocket fuel. Steph went all in. He linked with top physical therapists, diving into rehab to toughen his body. Ankles taped like a mummy's, he didn't complain. Hours of balance drills, leg strength, coordination, he attacked it like a mission. He swapped sneakers for models that locked his ankles tight. And his shot. He knew he couldn't outmuscle guys, so he'd outshoot them. He tweaked his release to fire faster than a blink. His shooting coach, Bruce Fraser, said Steph was a machine. He'd drill 500 threes a day, ice pack strapped on. Picture this. Night, empty Oracle Arena. Steph, ankles wrapped in ice, stands at the three-point line. Dim lights, AC humming. He shoots, swish. Again swish. His face is locked in, sweat dripping. He's not just shooting. He's fighting pain, doubt, and every critic who wrote him off. Each bucket's a defiance. I'm still here. I ain't leaving. The 2011 to 2012 season, shortened by a lockout, was a low point. Steph played just 26 games. His ankles snapped like twigs in a storm. In March 2012, he had surgery on his right ankle, ligament reconstruction. Docs warned, 6 months recovery and no guarantees. Steph nodded, but inside he raged. This wasn't the end, it was a test. He rehabbed with fury, leaving therapists stunned. Pool work, weights, light jogs, he clawed his way back. By late 2012, Steph was creeping back. Still lean, but tougher. His shot was quicker, his confidence ironclad. Warriors fans started seeing not a fragile vase, but a fighter ready to scrap. Steph told himself, "I won't quit, even if my ankles fall off." That became his chant. He knew his chance to prove he could dominate the NBA was coming. Oakland, 2014 to 2015. Oracle Arena roars like a jet taking off. Stephen Curry, no longer the fragile rookie, is the heartbeat of the Golden State Warriors, driving them to NBA heights. Under new coach Steve Kerr, the Warriors play futuristic hoops, fast, with a blizzard of threes, where Steph's the maestro, shredding defenses. He sinks 286 trays, a league record, wins MVP, and drags the team to their first title in 40 years. In the finals against Cleveland, LeBron James eyes him like a cocky kid, but Steph fires back with a storm of threes, like he's back on a schoolyard. This is the explosion that rewrites the NBA. After injury-plagued early years, Steph's finally healthy. His ankles are braced, his frame's like steel wire, his shot a sniper's bullet. In 2013 to 2014, the Warriors showed promise but crashed in the playoffs' first round. Coach Mark Jackson got the boot, and in came Steve Kerr, a rookie coach with a golden touch. Kerr saw Steph and said, "You're our weapon. Let's light it up." He built a game plan around speed and threes, with Steph as the engine. Passes, fakes, bombs from downtown. The Warriors played like they'd hacked the NBA's code. The 2014 to 2015 season was a hurricane. The Warriors racked up 67 wins, tops in the league. Steph wasn't just a player, he was a spectacle. His handles left defenders tripping. His trays flew with such gall it stunned coaches. Once, he sank a three over Chris Paul from half court. The crowd went nuts. Steph averaged 23.8 points, hit 286 threes, and nabbed MVP, the first Warrior to do so. Fans chanted, "MVP. Steph?" He grinned, just getting started. The playoffs were the real test. The Warriors steamrolled New Orleans, Memphis, and Houston, but the finals against LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers was a clash of gods. LeBron, the NBA's king, a 6 feet 8 inches tank, was expected to flatten little Steph. Game 1, Cleveland pushed hard, and Steph looked rattled. LeBron glared like Steph was a kid sneaking into a grown-up's game, and the Cavs' defense choked him. Twitter buzzed, "Curry's choking." But Steph didn't flinch. He hit the gym, studied tape, and thought, "LeBron? Let's dance." Game 2, Steph erupted. 19 points, clutch trays, and the Warriors tied the series. By Game 4, he dropped 37 points, firing over defenders like a cannon. One tray, over LeBron, from downtown, became the year's highlight. Steph sank it, spun, and danced like he was at a party. The crowd lost it. LeBron gritted his teeth. The Warriors won 4-2, and on June 16, 2015, Steph hoisted the Larry O'Brien Trophy. His grin outshone the lights. First title, first triumph. America cheered, doubters ate their words. But behind the scenes, drama brewed. Steph knew a weak finals could have tanked his rep. After a shaky Game 1, he barely slept, replaying mistakes. Kerr told him, "Just play, Steph. You're the best." And Steph played. His grit, forged in injuries and doubt, shone through. He didn't just beat LeBron. He proved his style, his threes, were the NBA's future. Oakland, 2015 to 2016. Oracle Arena's a hoops volcano, and the Golden State Warriors, led by Stephen Curry, aren't just playing. They're rewriting NBA history. 73 wins in the regular season, a record even Michael Jordan's Bulls couldn't touch. Steph sinks 402 threes, a number that fries analysts' brains, and becomes the first unanimous MVP in league history. The world watches as this lanky guy with a schoolboy smile redefines basketball. But in the finals against Cleveland, the dream crumbles. The Warriors, up 3-1, lose 3-4. Steph's blamed for fading in clutch moments, and he's crushed. Fans joke he sold the finals for a bag of chips, but Steph, towel over his head in the locker room, eyes blazing, vows, "This ain't the end, it's just the start." Fresh off the 2015 title, the Warriors were gods. Steph, already MVP and champ, wasn't just a star, an icon. His threes were wizardry. He'd launch from downtown, over hands, falling backward, and hit. The season kicked off like a rocket. 24 straight wins, an NBA record start. Steph averaged 30.1 points, 5.1 trays at 45%, and 6.7 assists. His handles made defenders trip. His grin drove rivals nuts. Once, he dropped a tray against the Clippers from half court. The arena exploded like a bomb. A rival coach threw up his hands. That's unfair. With Coach Steve Kerr's system, the Warriors played sci-fi hoops. Fast, three-heavy, with passes that gave opponents whiplash. Steph was the engine, backed by Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andre Iguodala. They shredded everyone: Spurs, Cavs, Thunder. 73 wins, 9 losses. Not a season, a masterpiece. Steph won MVP unanimously, a league first. ESPN dubbed him the guy who broke basketball. Kids mimicked his threes, coaches rewrote playbooks. Fame brought pressure. Every game was dissected. A missed shot? Twitter erupted. Curry's overrated. Steph just shot more. His swagger was bulletproof. After dropping 46 on OKC, he said, "I'm just playing my game." But behind it was grind, practice, rehab, film study. He knew his ankles were fragile and guarded them like treasure. The 2016 playoffs were a thriller. The Warriors crushed Houston and Portland, but the Western Finals against OKC nearly ended them. Down 3-1, it looked over. But Steph and Klay went supernova. Game 6, Steph dropped 31 points. Game 7, 36, with clutch trays. The Warriors rallied and hit the finals. The world cheered, Steph grinned. We ain't done. The finals against LeBron's Cleveland was epic drama. The Warriors rolled, up 3-1, title in sight. Steph was shooting, dancing, but then it unraveled. LeBron and Kyrie Irving turned into Terminators. Game 5, Draymond Green's suspension shook the Warriors. Steph struggled in the clutch, 38% shooting, shaky defense. In Game 7, he scored 17 but missed a key shot. Cleveland won 93-89, snatching the title from a 3-1 lead, a historic choke. Steph was gutted. In the locker room, towel over his head, he sat as reporters pounded the door. Twitter roasted, "Curry's a choker." Fans quipped he sold the finals for chips. But Steph faced the press. "We'll be back. This is just the start." His voice shook, but his eyes burned. He knew failure was a teacher, and he was ready to learn. Oakland, then San Francisco, 2017-2022. The Golden State Warriors aren't just a team. They're a dynasty, and Stephen Curry's its beating heart. After the crushing 2016 Finals loss, Steph and his squad roar back, shaking the NBA. Signing Kevin Durant turns them into a super team, snagging titles in 2017 and 2018. But injuries hit like a sledgehammer. 2019-2020 is the Warriors' worst season ever, and folks bury the dynasty. Steph? He grins and grinds. In 2022, he drags the team to a 4th title, grabs Finals MVP, and proves he's still king. Steph hoists the trophy, his smile brighter than spotlights. "I always knew we'd be back," he says, and the world cheers. The 2016 Finals scar didn't break Steph. Roasted online for choking, he hit the gym, threes, handles, defense. Summer 2016, the Warriors dropped a bomb, signing Kevin Durant, a top-tier star. Fans cried, "Unfair." Rivals whined, but Steph shrugged. "Cool, let's ball." With Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, the Warriors were like the Avengers on hardwood. Steph wasn't just a shooter. He was a leader, sacrificing shots for team glory. The 2016-2017 season was a juggernaut. 67 wins, and Steph, though losing MVP to Russell Westbrook, averaged 25.3 points and 324 trays. In the playoffs, they mowed down opponents, facing LeBron's Cleveland in the finals again. This time, it was no contest. Steph and Durant shredded defenses, trays, dunks, dimes. Steph dropped 34 in Game 1, dancing like old times. The Warriors won 4-1. Durant took Finals MVP, but Steph didn't care. He lifted the trophy and said, "We're back." His grin was a warning. Who's next? 2018 was a rerun. 58 wins despite injuries. Steph missed 31 games with knee and ankle issues, but returned in the playoffs like a cyborg. In the finals against Cleveland, he dropped 37 in Game 4, with trays that left LeBron shaking his head. The Warriors swept 4-0, and Steph and Durant hoisted another trophy. In 2 years, they cemented a dynasty, and Steph was a leader on and off the court. Humble, family-focused, faith-driven, he showed you could be a star and stay real. But 2019 cracked the empire. Injuries hit like a tsunami. In the finals against Toronto, Durant tore his Achilles, Klay blew out his knee, and Steph, despite a 47-point gem, couldn't carry it. The Warriors fell 2-4, and Durant bolted to Brooklyn. The 2019-2020 season was a disaster. Steph broke his hand 4 games in, Klay sat out, and the Warriors tanked. 15 wins, 50 losses. Twitter declared the dynasty dead. Curry's done at 32. Pundits scoffed. He can lead. Steph? He stayed quiet and worked. 2020-2021 proved he wasn't done. Steph dropped 32 points per game, 337 trays, nearly dragging a weak roster to the playoffs. But the real comeback was 2022. With Klay back, Green snarling, and young guns like Jordan Poole, the Warriors rebuilt. Steph, at 34, was like fine wine, 25.5 points, 43% from 3, and leadership that gave chills. They rolled through Denver, Memphis, and Dallas in the playoffs, facing Boston in the finals. Everyone bet on the young Celtics to crush the old Warriors. Steph said, "Hold up." In the finals, he was a wizard. 43 points in Game 4, with trays that rocked the arena. He shot through defenses like in 16, but with a vet savvy. The Warriors won 4-2, and Steph nabbed his first Finals MVP. On June 16, 2022, he lifted the trophy, smile blazing brighter than spotlights. "I always knew we'd be back," he said. Triumph and pride poured out. He proved the dynasty lived, and he was king. 2025, a schoolyard somewhere. The ball slaps pavement, kids shout, and 1, maybe 12, steps back to an imaginary three-point line, squints, and shoots. The ball arcs, splashes the net, and the court erupts. Like Curry, this isn't just a game. It's a new basketball era, sparked by Stephen Curry. He flipped the sport, making the three-pointer its deadliest weapon. Back when, the NBA was about dunks and muscle. Now it's about guys shooting like Curry from the next zip code. Steph's no mere player. He's a humble, family guy who believes in God, work, and himself. His story's about dreams and grit beating all odds. His legacy? It lives in every kid who grabs a ball and aims big. Let's wrap it up. When Steph hit the NBA in 2009, threes were a side dish. Tasty, but not the meal. Bigs like Shaq ruled the paint. Stars like Kobe ripped defenses with slams. Steph, a wiry dude with a kid's grin, said, "Let's switch it up." His downtown bombs, over hands, in crunch time, changed everything. By 2025, he sunk over 3,700 threes, an NBA record no one's touching soon. He hit 402 in 2015 to 2016, and now even 7-footers step out, dreaming of Curry's stroke. Coaches revamped strategies, teams lean on snipers, and kids don't just dunk, they shoot threes, mimicking Steph. It's more than stats. Steph rewrote basketball's soul. He proved you don't need to be a giant to dominate. His handles, a ballet, his shot, a sniper's kill, his audacity, chucking from half-court with a smirk, made hoops art. ESPN called him a revolutionary. Fans dubbed him the baby-faced assassin. School coaches now teach kids to shoot deep, not just drive. The game's faster, smarter, all thanks to a guy once called too weak. Off the court, Steph's real. No yachts, no tabloid mess. Married to high school sweetheart Aisha, raising 3 kids, hitting church. His daughter Riley stole a 2015 presser, and he laughed like any dad. He signs sneakers for fans, cracks jokes, and donates millions to schools. His faith's no act. It's his core, guiding him through injuries, losses, triumphs. Steph's the guy you'd share popcorn with, but instead, he's draining threes, making arenas quake. His story's a fable, minus the magic wand. Son of an NBA star, snubbed by top colleges. Scrawny rookie, labeled glass. MVP, champ, legend who showed. Grit trumps talent. Steph battled injuries, jeers, flops, but always rose, shooting. His stubbornness is a motor that never stalls. His tale inspires beyond courts. It tells anyone, height, Strength, opinions don't matter. Grind, believe, and you'll shine. Steph's a brand. His Under Armour kicks fly off shelves. His youth camps pack thousands. He teaches kids to shoot and dream. One camper asked, "Steph, how do you not fear missing?" He grinned. "Fear? I've missed thousands. Each miss is a step to a make." That's him. No fear. Just shoot. And hit. Stephen Curry's more than a name. He's proof dreams come true if you grind and believe. A skinny kid from Charlotte, counted out by all, became an NBA king, flipped basketball, and inspired millions. Look at Curry and dare to dream big. If he, with his shaky ankles and not NBA size, tore it up, so can you. Grab a ball, hit the gym, shoot threes, and ignore the "you can't" crowd. Steph showed it's possible if you want it bad. Want more stories like this? Drop a comment. Who's next? Jordan, Kobe, or someone else? And don't forget to shoot threes like Curry, not like me, clanking off the trash can.